I'm Dana Chandler. I'm the Tuskegee University's Archivist. I have been here for about 8 years, and I am, I guess, kind of sort of a little bit of an expert on George Washington Carver, at least here on this campus. I first came here in 1973. My parents brought me down here, and maybe it was 74, yeah, probably 74. I was brought down here as a young man, and they believed in us knowing about the history of the state, and so I got to come down here specifically to see George Washington Carver's laboratory. That, to me, was a life-changing event. It's the first time I saw Tuskegee, and I loved it from the very beginning. I'm fortunate, though, to be the archivist here. It's a dream come true. It is a dream job. George Washington Carver has played an important role in my life, and his attitude, his contributions, everything about George Washington Carver speaks of his love of God, his love of nature, and that parallels my own life. Being born in Missouri and growing up on a farm, I was born in Alabama, and I grew up on a farm, and grew up poor and hard, but that made me respect the land and respect God's creation, and that's what he did. When thinking about George Washington Carver and here at Tuskegee, when he got here in 1896, George Washington Carver, was originally supposed to be the farm manager, but he had a broader vision. Maybe it didn't parallel with what Booker T wanted, but it was something that he wanted to do. He felt he needed to do, and he called himself a trailblazer. Well, I think that's true in some ways. In some ways, he was much more than that. George Washington Carver, I call him the first African-American green scientist because of his work with natural products that people wouldn't normally work with, like wisteria vines and used motor oil and things like that people would throw away. That Carver would come up with unique methods how to use that stuff for the betterment of mankind. And that's another thing about Carver. It's his reach went far beyond anything that was black or white. It was for all mankind. That's the one thing that sticks out in my mind. When I look at the people that have tried to make money off of him and his ideas, and sometimes it gets very frustrating. There's a trail in Tuskegee that they call the Carver Trail. It's nothing more than something that's put there for tourists. Carver didn't walk the same place every day. Carver walked all over. He was looking for stuff that he could use for his laboratory, and most of the time he would walk toward the fields and toward the forests, because that's where he wanted to spend his time, being close to nature and, of course, the learning environment that he called it. Carver was a great man. Carver was a great scientist, and one that we sometimes fail to think of. And looking beyond him, what makes him also unique is, and I would call him a genuine Renaissance man. He sang in the chorus. He taught piano. He was a painter. He crocheted. He cooked. In fact, he was a very good cook. A lot of his recipes are still used today, and we were looking at some of them being pinned on Pinterest even. That's kind of cool, So, yeah, Carver was very special and continues to be so. Thank you.